Good morning to all of you. I'm Amitabh Srivastav, Director of Technologies for looking after mobile innovations at Impetus. I have some 16 years of experience in the mobile domain. I started working in early days of feature phones and then grown into the mobile technology. I have been a developer myself, working on basic feature phones in J2ME, then moved to Symbian, and then came the iOS and Android, now the Windows Phone 8. And over a period of time, I have worked at all different levels in the organization and currently heading the innovation labs. I would like to thank Unicom for selecting my paper here, which is on mobile test automation tools, a reality check. So last couple of years, I have been initiated deeply into mobile test automation frameworks and tools. It was in 2010 that one of my papers got selected at CTIA in US when I first talked about object recognition-based, object-based testing of mobile application products. And then at Impetus, we developed a framework, a tool called mAutomate. It's a cloud-enabled mobile test automation framework. And before I start my session today, I would like to ask you, all the people sitting out here, is how many of you have ever tested a mobile application from the testing side? Mobile application products in different domain, different technologies? So I have some 2-3 people here who raised their hands. So, okay, 4, 5. That's good. So we'll try to make this session interactive so that it helps even others to learn about mobile test automation. So I would like to start my presentation today with a bold statement that says, none of the mobile application test automation tools in the market as of today are in reality a complete automation tools. Because even in web, this is true to some extent, because none of these tools are actually capable of testing a mobile application on its own. Like in mobile application for Android, you have APK files. If I just drag and drop a APK file on a testing tool, will it test automatically and give me all the results? No, it will not. So generally, these tools are nothing but the execution frameworks that help you execute the test scripts that you have created. So moving on to the agenda for today, I'll start with why automation is needed, because this is one of the questions in mobile that people keep on asking, that you are working so much on mobile application test automations, while they assume that the mobile application is very small, they are rapid development cycles, they are developed in 4 weeks of time, 1 month, 3 months max. Is it really important to test them and that to automate them? So I'll touch base on that topic. Then we'll move on what automation tools offers, the current state of the market, what they offer, and then move on to what is needed. I'll try to come up with the actual needs in the market for real automation tools and identify the gap, and then present my solution where I will define a real test automation tool which is needed for the mobile applications. And then there will be a short demo of mAutomate, interrupt test automation using cloud-enabled mobile test automation tool, mautomate.com. And I'll show you that how this is a step in the right direction, what the things the mAutomate feature list is promising and what they are coming up right now, and how they can take the things forward in a better way. So starting with why automation is needed. So on the mobile side, there's a lot of diversity of devices and platforms. So there are, say, 25, 40 people sitting out here. All of you are carrying different mobile phones. There will be a bigger chunk of Android phones. There will be iOS phones. And I can see some Windows phones and some feature phones as well. And iOS, okay, there are limited numbers of versions and devices they have, 6, 10. But on the Android side, if you see, there are hundreds of OEM creating thousands of devices every year And these devices, they want to differentiate themselves. They want to differentiate their device from the others. And this differentiation is very good from the consumer perspective. You get good new features every day. But imagine from an application developer perspective, who is creating a product for consumer that needs to go to all. And before going in GA for general public availability, they have to see to it that the application really works on all devices. And that becomes a very challenging task if you try to ever test on hundreds of devices manually. Even with automation, it is a challenging task. And then a lot of people say the mobile applications are small. So this was very true when I started my career in early 2097, 98 time frame, when mobile devices are very small and the memory capacities were very low, processing capacities were low, network was low. But now, the mobile phones that we carry have dual processors and quad processors. Even the laptops that we used to carry 5 years down the line did not have those powerful processors as we have in the mobile phones now. The RAM has also increased. The networks, you have 3G and 4G networks on the mobile device. So mobile device is now as capable as a laptop computer of a couple of years back. So looking at this, the enterprises have actually building the enterprise class application and extending them to mobile. And those kind of applications have very complex use cases, large number of test cases. Typically a workforce management application that connects to a SAP backend. I have been testing one of that has thousands, around 1,500 test cases that needs to be tested at every regression cycle. And the carrier network issues. This is the major thing that pulled me into mobile test automation. Otherwise, I was myself a developer, happy to be a developer, was not focused much on automation testing or any such things. It was 2004, a holy time for me. I belong to Lucknow, North India. I was working for a company in Hyderabad, and we were doing a project for a company in US. So just before Holi, we delivered everything. Everything was tested on the actual target devices on which it was to be delivered to Verizon in Vodafone networks in India, and we delivered the builds. I went to Lucknow the day we play the colors. I started getting calls that the builds are failing in US and they are not working. There is no network communication that is possible. And we didn't have any developers or QA resources there at that time. We were depending on our sales guys to actually show the demo and deliver the product. So I had to immediately leave the Holi festival and go to US to actually test that application in the real network, put the logs, see the things, what's happening. And it was some special character issue that was coming that was not passing through the Verizon gateway. So it was a network specific issue that we never faced in India while testing that application. But we realized that the last mile of testing is really important. And there should be something for offshore developers we work with in India to have this facility to do it remotely. And from that day, I started working on to create something that can does it and does it really well. So we have something in mAutomate that can do it. Then the compressed software development cycles. The product owners are greedy. The moment they get an idea and they discuss it with the offshore company to actually create it for them, and when you ask that, what are the timelines, when you want the product to be out in the market, they say, I was expecting it to be out yesterday. But now since we did not came to you day before, we are coming today, tell me how fast you can do it. Can you give it in me a couple of weeks or a couple of months? And for a mobile product, if you say anything beyond a couple of months, say first deliverable beyond 3 months, you will not get the project. So in all those compressed development cycles, what is maximum compressed? The coding has to be done. The maximum compressed squeezed is the QA period. And then you all feel that we are not doing justice to the application, we are not able to test all possible scenarios, and we are delivering something which even we are not 100% sure that it will run through perfect, but we deliver. So automation is needed to help us reduce the time and cost of the QA cycles. And then the large number of devices that we want to test. Even if we have 50 devices and 5 testers, and I want to run 1,000 test cases on each device manually with 5 testers, I will take 10 days. to do that. And we don't have that much of time. So what is test automation? So test automation is use of strategies, tools, and artifacts that reduce the need of human involvement on repeated testing tasks. It stands same for the mobile as well. Even in mobile, we have unit testing, UI testing, and functional test automation that is now possible. And there are frameworks which allow you to automate it to such extent that now you can have devices in your US office, in your UK offices, which do not need to be tested. No human intervention is required on those devices for testing of your application. Everything can be done remotely on a web interface. So what is the current automation tools offers right now in the market? So most of the tools, people who have done some mobile testing must be heard about Android and RoboTM as a tool there. So what it offers is that you have to first understand the objects, or there are manual ways to create the object repository. Once you have the object repository created, you actually go on coding the test scripts. This is the one way. There are more tools. They provide conversion of test cases into the test script while recording of the app flow on executing on a test steps on a first device. Once the test scripts are available, the test tools helps you execute the test scripts on target device. Sometimes the target device needs to be attached to the same computer, and in some tools it can be remote. And once all the setup is done, you are welcome to connect it, integrate it with your CI integration build process, so that if there are multiple developers working on the build and there's a nightly build process that every night there's a new build created, all the unit tests and function tests can be executed unattendedly on some target devices, and results can be shared back with the developers and all the stakeholders. And these tools provide you fancy reports. But what is actually needed when I talk about a real test automation tool is something this. Automatic creation of functional test scripts without coding or recording of steps manually. And once the functional test scripts is ready, what more you need specific to mobile is automatic support of some of these type of testing, like interrupt test automation. So on a mobile device, when an application is running, there are various sorts of interrupts that are expected to occur randomly anytime. Say, for example, I'm running an application on a phone and there is an incoming call. The incoming call has a higher priority. It will interrupt the application. I'll take the call, and when I finish the call, the expected behavior is that the application come back to the same state. Like if I was filling a form, it should come back to that state itself and continue from there. It should not restart, it should not crash, it should not close. This is one. The other, it's a mobile device. You are walking along with it, you are using an application, networks can go down. Then orientation. Nowadays we have portrait, landscape. While working, you can change the orientation, and the screen orientation changes. It should not affect the application flow. So a lot of these interrupts, I have been into mobile, working with a lot of mobile testing people all around. So I've seen people go inside the lift with a phone to test a no network kind of scenario, and even place the phone inside the microwave. I know they switch it off first, but microwave oven to block the microwaves from getting into it and simulate a no network kind of a scenario. Then came some tools which did started helping in these kind of simulation, but it is still not up to the mark so that it can be used for a lot of automation as such. Then we have security and penetration testing, which is quite standard that we need to do on certain protocols, on certain things in our applications, which is almost independent of the application, and that should be provided out of box by a framework or a tool. We have OEM App Store certifications. So typical on the mobile side, if you want to publish your app to Apple Store, you have a set of guidelines that your application should follow, then it passes their QA test. If you want to publish it on Windows Marketplace or Windows Phone 8 app, there is again a set of guidelines that need to be done. And all those guidelines are standard. So the framework should allow us to just one click and do it. Why are we required to code the test scripts every time for every new application we want to test for the compliance and certification? performance testing automation across devices, UI verification across different devices. Like what happens is, while developing an application, the developers generally concentrate on a reference device, say one device or two device, and before it goes out to the market, the app needs to be tested, UI needs to be verified across hundreds of devices. And that can be very well done by automation framework, which is currently not happening. Even different form factors. There are applications that you create for a small screen device that should work on a bigger screen device, that should work on a tablet, and it should be validated across devices and the form factors. So this was all the problems and the gaps. Now let me help you all define a real automation tool. So the expectations that I have created, from these expectations, we reach to this stage. So there's a possibility to create a real automation tool that automatically creation of all possible function test scripts for the app under test. So there is an application in the test, and you put that application onto the framework or the tool, and the tool creates all possible function test scripts for the app under test. So this can be achieved if the tool is capable of executing the app, transiting the screens from one to another in all possible flows that our application allows to. And if we have a reference app which is built and tested, we can just put on this system, and it automatically creates the script for all possible flows. It automatically creates an object repo for the app under test that can be